Hey guys, it's Olivie Blake, and this is me not writing. So this is not my best look. I have recently woken up, and I am very busy and working on my current book that is almost done. So I don't have a lot of questions, so there's not a whole lot to talk about today, which means I'm not going to talk for very long. I will probs get back to work. The book I'm currently working on is The Night Approaching, which I have mentioned several times, but is making very good progress, and I don't really want to be torn away from it. Not even for my Vive la Tour sequel, which is not done. I've been working really hard on this book. So anyway, that story is probably going to, I think I can probably finish by next Sunday, so the tour is ending today. It is Sunday, in case you did not pick up on that. So the tour is ending today, and then I will probably post it next week when we're all like missing the tour, which naturally we are all going to be doing. So that is happening. It will be in Evertentia. It will be super long, probably. I don't really remember how long Vive la Tour is. I think it was back in the day when I like sort of had some control over how long my stories were, and even then it was a little bit long because I did all 21 stages. Also, the tour this year was so interesting with the way the last couple days went that I kind of want to I'm tailoring my plot a little bit more to this tour, so I'm making some changes. I'm just babbling at this point. Okay, please check out Tumblr for our discussion on Cherie. It is not too late to read this book. We can talk about it anytime. It was very, very good, not very long. I still really encourage you to read it. But for August, we are reading Three Women by Lisa Taddeo. I thought we should read something hot and new, which is this book. This book has been, you've probably seen it. It's been sort of around everywhere. It was referenced in the cut when I suggested some articles earlier in the book club, and I think it's really, as far as I know, it's nonfiction. It's a woman following the love lives / sex lives of three women, and the pieces I have read of it and pieces about it have been really good, and I'm really excited for it. And I think it's like, I don't know, I'm very excited about it. The quote on the front is from Elizabeth Gilbert, which is who wrote Eat, Pray, Love, and she also recently came out. She writes fiction as well. I have not read her fiction, but I'm about to read City of Girls, which I've heard great things about. I also just finished Space Opera by Kat Valenti, and it was very good. It's not really my kind of book because it was a lot of world building and like really just clever imaginative stuff about space and the universe, which was an amazing reflection on like life and politics for now. Just really cleverly done. Not really my thing, but if you are into like if you like Douglas Adams, you will like space opera. I think the only thing that was missing for me is I always really like the more human struggle, of an individual, of a character. For me, I want a character-driven piece rather than something that is world-driven, which is what I would say this was, or plot-driven. I need to get invested in the characters, and I don't really care about anything else, like the context and stuff. Some books that I really didn't like that other people love, I hated Night Circus. I thought it was just a lot of details that I didn't want. And I get it. This is the thing. Is like I know it's a good book. I just know it's not for me. I would give Night Circus, 5 stars, but also I would never recommend it to anyone because I didn't enjoy it. I felt the same way. I just finished The Birth of Venus, and I felt that one was world-driven, and the character was very annoying to me. So this is just a thing to keep in mind when I recommend books. I am almost always recommending a character-driven story. So if you want to get invested in the people in the story, that's the kind of stuff I read. If you like to fall in love with the details of a world or a plot that's very exciting, then my recommendations may not always be the thing. So Three Women, character-driven, I would say. I look forward to it. Character, people. I don't know if you guys watch Harlots, but that show was just so disappointing. This has just been a year of, I don't want to give away any spoilers, but there's been a lot of burying your gays this year, and it has just been it's just frustrating. You know, like I said, I get attached to characters I don't understand when they die for reasons that don't make any sense to me. But anyway, before this happened and the entire show of Harlots was ruined, and I will probably not watch it anymore, it used to be a great show that I loved. If you want to watch seasons 1 and 2, you should do that and then firmly stop there. I also decided I wanted to try writing something that was more purely in the romance genre and more of a historical fiction kind of thing. So historical romance plus a little bit of fantasy, a little bit of magic. So I've been doing a lot of research. These are my books. These are my library books. I have the Beau Monde, the Courtiers, and London's Sinful Secret. So this is what's going on over here. I am very, very busy these days. But yeah, so doing Georgian England, I thought it would be interesting because then we'd get a whole sort of variety of characters of people who are nobility or are fashionable London society, and then the unfashionable, sinful. It's just, yeah, I'm really hoping to build some very interesting characters with it. You know, that must be why I like romance so much, because I think romance, it obviously can't be plot-driven because the plots have been done, and it can't really be world-driven. Like, it can, but I think that's what's appealing about historical fiction. But mostly people are there for the characters. That's what's great about romance, is when you watch two characters fall in love, to understand the relationship two characters have to each other. That's like the height of a character-driven story. A good romance is dependent on having two characters who feel very real and whose motivations are really important. So maybe that's why I like it so much, and maybe that's why I focus on it so much, is because I like the stories about individuals, and I don't know, that's just very compelling to me. Yeah, so I think that's basically everything. I'm sure the light is like really terrible right now, and I'm letting that happen because I didn't want to put any makeup on or do my hair or do anything before I sat down here. So this is probably just not going to be very pleasant, and I don't know who would want to sit through it. I think as far as asks I got this week, I did get one interesting one that was, so someone said something about liking my voice, which was so great because I have always thought my voice was just very annoying. I've always thought it was grating. Like when people mock me, they usually do like a very high-pitched, annoying sound. So I just assumed that my voice was annoying to other people. And someone came back with the argument that a high voice is attractive. So I think the distinction we were making there in terms of our voices as women, but not just as women, this is definitely a thing for men as well. I mean, what would you think of a man with a high-pitched voice? But I think specifically with women, they were making the argument that they have a low voice, which makes them feel less attractive. But I have a high voice, which makes me feel like no one listens to me. Like when I talk, men are just like turning their brains off, you know? So I think it's just a matter of, obviously there's all these aspects of us that we could be aware of and we could be self-conscious about, but why? You know, it's just not a good use of our time. I believe my response, some like 1920s gangster like took over my body and was like, the cake is how you slice it, baby doll. But like for real it is. I don't know what that means, but it does. It does. And I don't think there was anything else recently. Yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of like, what do you really care about when it comes to your perception? Perception is such an interesting thing because, yeah, maybe it's worth it to be aware and to be conscious of how you're perceived, but not when you let it get in the way. So this person was saying that they're so conscious of their voice that they try to raise it when they're talking to men, which is, you could be aware of that, or you could just not be. Can you imagine needing to, I mean, if you want to be attractive to a man, I don't know what your end goal is there. assuming you're trying to attract them. Would you ever want to be with someone though who was only who like you had to put on a voice for? That is a mystery to me. Yeah, I think it's just a mystery. There's so many things that are mysteries to me. You know what you should do, you and everyone? I watched the stand-up Glitter Room, which is Catherine Ryan's stand-up on Netflix. She is amazing. Everything she said in that was just so good and so true and so right. And you should just really watch that. Actually, I think you should watch it, and it would make you feel much better, and or worse in like a good way though. Like to be like, haha, everything is so terrible for us, but like we're in it together at least, sort of sometimes. Okay, well, I am just babbling. I think I've babbled for 11 straight minutes, and I think that's probably all you need from me. I didn't have any questions this week, so oh, someone did ask me if I would talk more about like sex stuff. I have noticed that my video about masturbation does have more reviews or more views than the others, so hopefully you guys got something useful out of that. But it would be kind of weird if I just showed up here and started talking about sex by myself. Like if I had just babbled about sex for the last 11 minutes, I think that would be strange. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I will answer them. I don't really have a reason not to. There are a lot of things that I think are important, and I have what happens to be not very big, but still a platform to talk about those things. So whenever you want to discuss them, we can do that. But other than that, this has been me, Olivie Blake, not writing. And if you have any questions, I will see you next week.